Should I leave?
Thank you so much, Savannah and Josephine, for introducing the concept of stress, perceived stress, and how it relates to workplace productivity, and for discussing this from the perspective of counseling psychologist and health psychologist. I will now aim to explain this phenomena from the perspective of an organizational psychologist. Organizational psychology is the fastest growing area of psychology in Australia and the United States. Their main role is that of a psychologist in the workplace that combines the science of psychology with business. Organizational psychologists work in such areas as recruitment, employee motivation, teamwork, stress management, employee evaluation, job satisfaction, productivity, and more. As Savannah touched on, perceived occupational stress has been shown to lower productivity, increase absenteeism, and create pervasive patterns of dysfunction in the workplace. Our hypothesis has been proven. Perceived stress does correlate with decreased productivity. Additionally, it is estimated that disorders related to stress annually claim nearly 10% of earnings from businesses, although some research has claimed that this may be as high as 20%. In fact, the 2007 study by the American Psychological Association found that 52% of employees had searched for a new job or left a job on the basis of their perceived workplace stress. These are the factors that an organizational psychologist must consider and why they ultimately must find a solution. Worst of all, the problem is growing. Perceived occupational stress increased 10% over 2 years from 2001 to 2003. And the World Health Organization has declared occupational stress to be a worldwide epidemic. So where does the stress come from and how can it be addressed? Stress is defined by Colbell in 1995, stating that it is a condition that arises when an individual experiences a demand that exceeds his or her real or perceived abilities to successfully cope with the demand, resulting in disturbance in his or her psychological and psychological equilibrium. The key words in this being real or perceived. Now, occupational stress can come from a number of different sources, such as very real deadlines, but they can also come from a number of perceived situations, such as the idea that one may not make the deadline for one reason or another, or what the consequences may be if they do not meet said deadline. These perceived stresses are the ones I aim to discuss today, specifically in the workplace environment. Now, there are a myriad of reasons as to why people perceive occupational stress. Some stresses include harassment, discrimination, threats of violence, managerial bullying, hours worked, level of autonomy, the pace at which an employee is expected to work, how meaningful the job is, the actual physical environment, level of isolation, role ambiguity, and work styles such as shift work. All of these have been shown to contribute to perceived stress. And as you can see, research has shown all these factors impacting perceived stress in the workplace. However, it's important to identify some key contributors that appear regularly and significantly in modern research. Changes in the workplace play a major role in perceived stress. The changing environment creates distress when that change or challenge is perceived as a threat to the employee and his or her well-being. These workplace changes create perceived stresses of such as over promotion, job security, job difficulty as the role changes, or difficulty understanding technological advances that may come with this change. Ultimately, these stresses can be summarized by the employee's appraisal of adaptation to a changing environment. In other words, some individuals have the capacity and the resources to advance their skills, while others may not. Managers also play a critical role in the identification and intervention of perceived occupational stress. Management style has been shown to play a major role in perceived stress, depending on whether it's weak, like a weak management style, or even a strong management style. The weak management style, known as laissez-faire leadership, can lead to ambiguity around tasks, deadlines, changes in the business, role descriptions, or expectations as a whole. This poor communication and management has been shown to lead to rumination in workers, which is one of the major contributors to perceived stress. Overmanagement also impacts perceived stress and is often seen as workplace bullying. This style of management has shown to lead to perceived stress related to perceived managerial expectations and punishment. Workers fear over making small mistakes because of the reaction it may cause from their manager. So much research has gone into occupational stress and its etiology. Thankfully, there is also a tremendous body of research into successful interventions. Two modern approaches to address perceived occupational stress: psychological capital and mindfulness-based stress reduction. Psychological capital, also known as PSYCAP, is a construct developed by Luthans and his research team in 2007. It combines positive psychology and positive organizational behavior. PSYCAP has been defined as an individual's positive psychological state of development and is characterized by four main characteristics. 1, self-efficacy, having confidence to take on and put in the necessary effort to succeed at challenging tasks. 2, optimism, making a positive attribution about succeeding now and in the future. 3, hope, persevering towards goals and when necessary, redirecting paths to goals in order to succeed. And 4, resilience, when coming across problems and adversity, sustaining and bouncing back even beyond minimum expectations. PSYCAP education has been developed into short training interventions for employees. And these workshops have been shown not only to significantly reduce perceived workplace stress, but also improve employees' attitudes, behaviors, and performance, increasing job retention and overall workplace happiness. Mindfulness-based stress reduction has been another modern discovery that has been shown to significantly reduce workplace stress, particularly in recent years. MBSR is a regular, clinically standardized meditation that's shown consistent efficacy in alleviating suffering associated with physical, psychosomatic, and psychiatric disorders. The program is non-religious and non-esoteric, and it's based on a systematic procedure to develop enhanced awareness of moment-to-moment experience of notable mental processes. Evidence shows that changes in mindfulness precede changes in perceived stress in a standard MBSR course. Also, the shortened course has shown equally positive results with significant reductions in perceived stress and increased mindfulness. Ultimately, the combination of a short PSYCAP workshop combined with a shortened mindfulness-based stress reduction course is an ideal intervention to help reduce perceived stress in the workplace and increase overall employee productivity and even employee happiness. I don't know what happened with that slide, but I'll try and fix it. In conclusion, our multidisciplinary team consisting of counseling, health, and occupational psychologists have examined the causes of occupational stress and how this impacts on the productivity of a workplace. The counseling psychologist has examined stress within the transactional model of stress appraisal, recommending interventions based on CBT and mindfulness. Our health psychologist has examined how poor diet and exercise contribute to occupational stress and reduced productivity, suggesting that the health behavioral change principles guide an exercise and diet intervention in the workplace. And finally, I have examined how occupational factors, including harassment, discrimination, threats of violence, managerial bullying, contribute to perceived workplace stress, and recommend that psychological capital and mindfulness-based stress reduction serve as intervention to reduce stress and improve productivity. Thank you for listening. Here are my references.